So, Harvey, it's good to see you. And I thought we'd just have a chat today about Fostering Live and where we're going and what we're trying to achieve with that event. You've been a great supporter since we first had this madcap idea for this event, and the support that you've given us has been brilliant. And we just wanted to roll it on now because we've got a show, we've got a huge support from all our associations and various different fostering community, and I just wanted to sort of throw that over to you to see your views of where we're at so far and anything else you think you can help us with moving forwards.
Okay. Well, for me, it's a huge opportunity because foster care, as we know it, is under lots of pressure. It's under strain. Mm-hmm. There are more children coming into care, particularly teenagers and young people with greater difficulties and greater challenges. And the system is only just about coping with that. So not only do we need more foster carers and more foster carers who can help care for a wider range of young people, foster care also needs a boost. You know, it needs a morale boost and an uplift because we hear about lots of difficult and challenging and awful things all the time, but when you talk to foster carers, what they'll say is, in some ways this was the hardest thing I've ever done, but also it's one of the best things I've ever done as well. And I don't think people hear that clearly enough. So I think what I wanted from this was it was a massive boost to foster care, a massive shot of positivity about it. Yeah,
I'm a foster carer. We seem to be the bottom feeders of everything. We seem to be the least informed, the last people on the chain of the child that is in care, and that child is so important in its care. And I think, yes, we do training, and yes, we do. We go to the support groups, but it doesn't really marry up nationally. There's lots of local recruitment drives, and with this event, I'm trying to put fostering at the number one heart of government, and also to bring in the challenges that foster carers face going forwards and the system. Bringing everybody together for a stage, give them a mouthpiece to point out how, and that's local authorities and the independent sector, to actually talk. We just need to talk as one, I think.
We do.
And I think to recruit, there's so much you can get out of fostering. Me, for one, my family, we have excelled. My children are far better people for fostering, far better, and they're just putting something back. And I think there's lots of the agencies, the people that you represent, think, what is this event about? They don't know what the event's about. Someone just say, we're having a show at Olympia, a national event, but really, is that kind of what you're going to do there? What's it going to be? And that's what we're trying to sort of now push out, because we've got a huge following digitally, and people are saying we want to come, what's going on? And yes, of course, we're starting to add that content going forwards now.
Yeah, and for me, the opportunity for all those different organisations and agencies to speak as one is huge, because they send out all sorts of odd messages across the country all the time. And in one sense, foster care is a local service, because if you're a foster carer, by and large, you will care for a child who comes from nearby where you live, give or take on the whole. Yeah. But actually, you get lots of messages from lots of different people. There's local authorities, something on the bus, something in the paper, there's something on Facebook. You're kind of bombarded with all these confusing things all the time. Yeah. And I think one of the opportunities you've got is to speak as one and say, this is what foster care is, because to some extent, the recruitment messages are all the same. We need all sorts of people, and these are the children, and these are the challenges. We have to be upfront and honest about that. People have to know what it is that they're signing up for here. Yeah. But actually, we can share those and speak with one voice. That will bring people in, and then we'll use them as best we can locally for the children that they're best catered for, etc.
With the event, we've got some really good speakers ready to be lined up, ready to announce. We want an exhibition is not really right for it. There is an exhibition part of it. It's going to be a very important part of it. But it's that stage. It's that stage for people to come and round table talk, come and ask those questions that they want to interact. And also foster carers who just want to sort of say, do you know what, I want to go to this event because there's something I can get back from that than just going to a training session, and ticking another box. Yeah. There's something actually meeting other foster carers and from around the country.
There's no doubt about it. For me, foster care is about human interaction. So although there was lots of value in other ways of communicating, actually basically foster care and social work and social workers are about sitting next to people and communicating with them and building a relationship with them. And that's what you get in foster care in your own home. And you can't substitute that in any other way. So you have to have people sitting and looking each other in the eye and talking about this stuff.
And I'm concerned that I feel there's always lots of walls in foster caring, in that whole industry of social care, that people putting walls, we can't talk to them, we can't talk to this. And in the world of building walls, I think we need to break a few down here and actually just put cards on the table and say, look, here's a national event. Simon and myself, Simon has a fabulous one-day event called Mad World, which is for mental health in the workplace, a really difficult subject to talk about. And he has got a raft of companies supporting him about this. And some big names, Barclays, Google, all coming into this event to talk about, yes, we have issues with mental health in this country in the workplace. And we're not fearing of any backlash or any politics that we're getting involved with. What we're trying to do here is like say, this is an event, a national show, all the partners are involved, let's just talk about fostering and get people involved, get them engaged and sign up more foster carers. You know.
And I think you're right, people still don't know about it. Just because you see an advert on the side of the bus going past doesn't make you take that step. And lots of the research we've done about what makes people ultimately apply to be a foster carer shows us that they take a long time thinking about it. They talk to other people. Again, it's the human interaction. They talk to somebody they know who's a foster carer, and they might go to an evening, they might get an information pack, they might look on the Facebook page, but it's a long time before they make that decision to step over into, okay, I think I might be ready to go for it now. And so we know there will be people out there now thinking about this who have never taken that step, and we want them to trip over into taking that step.
I can remember the first little chap who came to our house when we foster cared, and I came home from work and I go, I don't know, this is just going to be a baptism of fire, I don't know what to expect. And this little lad walked in, and he was still in his school uniform, and he'd got holes in his shoes were just, you know, I think he was 4 at the time, and he'd been stealing bread off the school bird table, and the head teacher went, enough, social services, this has got to stop, and he was taken to care that evening. And the little boy, he used to wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock, and I used to sit watching Ice Age over and over again, every single morning, bottle of milk, Ice Age. But the little boy grew in terms of he felt safe, he had people around him, he'd never been into a supermarket, he'd never done these sorts of things. And it changed our family, absolutely. And babies that we have, my daughter is far better person for this you know, understanding, nurturing, just caring for these little individuals that come through. It's such a rewarding process.
Part of the reason fostering agencies are members of my organisation, NAFP, is because they want to give something back. They want to contribute and they want to be part of the bigger picture. So, you know, they get information off me and they interact with me and sometimes we problem solve, etc. We do all of that stuff, but actually they want to see foster care get bigger and better for children and, you know, more foster carers, more good foster carers, more choice. And I think that's another one of the things that we can bring here. We need more choice for children and for foster carers, because not every foster carer is right for every child. Is it? You know, there's a thing we call matching in foster care, which is about is this going to be the right match between this child and this carer? And in order to get that for every child, you have to have a choice of foster carers for that child, and that we don't have that at the moment, and that's what we're aiming for. But on the other hand, as well, actually, if you're somebody who wants to be a foster carer, you've got a choice of agency you can go to as well. You can go to your local authority, you can go to a whole range of independent agencies. And what you'll find when you get in touch with them is that they're not all the same. They have different styles, they have different children that they cater for. Some are small, some are big, some are medium, some are urban. And so what you'll find is, after you inquire and shop around a bit, and that's what I would call it, you'll find one that is the best match for you as well. And that's really important. I think that's why I need our members to step up and all show what they've got and all talk about their agencies and their different styles and their different preferences and their different children.
Harvey, we've spoken on the phone, I think, and lots of emails, but first time we've met. So how did you actually get into? You are the god of the, you know, of so many people
I've never been called that before.
Well, so many people that I know say you've got to speak to Harvey Gallagher. He's the man. And actually, you were one of the first people we picked the phone up to speak to and said, "What can I do? What can I do to help us with this event?" And I just wondered how you ever got into it in the first place. What was your background?
There are some care experiences in my family. And I didn't really digest that or understand what that meant, because in lots of places it's still not the stuff you talk about very much. There's some hidden secrets here, you know. And I didn't really digest that probably until I was in my mid-30s and understand what was going on. But before that even, I was interested in doing something that made the world a better place to live in. Yeah. And so I did when I was a student, I did some volunteer work, taking kids whose families had support from social services away to North Wales on holiday with children who'd never been to the countryside before, that sort of stuff, you know. And I started training as a social worker, but kind of decided that wasn't exactly for me. So I was moving around trying to find something that I could do that would, you know, not change the world. You know, I don't have lofty, huge ambitions, but if I can do something that makes the world a more positive place, and for me, it's about children who don't get a say in where they're born, they don't get a say in who brings them up, they don't get a say in any of that stuff, they don't get a say about the decisions that are made for them. So can I make things better for them in a way that ultimately they'll be a bit better off for having had me around? And it's no more or less than that, in honesty.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, that's what the industry needs. It needs every industry needs a focal event, a national debate or a national conference that it can come to and go, this is what we want to do. And if they have to call the government to account, they'll call the government to account.
I agree.
But, you know, but talking to the DFE, they seem to be on it. They seem to be trying to push things as much as they possibly can.
They are. They are. I think the DFE get this in lots of ways.
Yeah.
Of course, they're constrained by the politics of everything, as we all are, and whatever that may be. Yeah, and of course that impacts on it. But I think, you know, within the realms of what central government can do, and it won't interfere with local work, and they have another lot of stuff going on their plate as well, I think they do get it. But for me, the central call here is about people doing the right thing, and I believe in people, and I think most people try and do the right thing most of the time.
Yes.
But it gets lost and confused and all the other stuff that happens with this. And so I think this is a really clear central call for us to do something to make things better for children in foster care.
Yeah, there's a number of companies that have approached us with Fostering Live that have that kind of, not necessarily even a social conscience, but when you talk about the event, they'll go, what can we do?
There you go.
You know, you know, even you know, let's give you some free goodie bags. Let's give you. Can we sponsor this? Can we do that? So there's so much that we're trying to roll out with this thing. With that we feel that there's a, you know, it could go national. It could go international. You know, we've got Hickory Gateless from the Mockingbird Society coming over. There's a lot of, you know, some partners we have in China said that's really interesting. Can we talk to you about that for Beijing? Could we talk? So that it could be an international event going forwards. I just think we just need to get the first one off the ground.
We do, and it's a good time for England because Sir Martin Neri undertook a review of foster care last year, and it comes on the back of reviews he did in adoption and children's homes as well. So governments have a lot of stuff at their fingertips that they know needs to be done and needs to be tackled. You know, we almost don't need to tell government anything about what's wrong with the system and what some of the solutions are, but we need to keep nudging them and persuading them to take the solutions.
It concerns me that, you know, crime is increasing. Crime's increasing because kids have got, they've closed all the youth centres, they've closed any form of interaction with young people because of cutbacks from 2008. We understand that, but those children who are going around stabbing kids on the streets of London, they're going to start having children soon, and there's going to be the problem because their moral compass is all over the place. You know, there's the concerning thing, and I think the more we can, as a national recruiting event, the more we can put fostering on the table for everybody, I think is important.
Yeah, I agree. For children now, but you're right. There's something stored up for the future here that might hit us later down the line as well. And we can't start when there are problems. We have to start now in preparation to anticipate that more children, particularly more young adults and young men, might need foster carers. And that, you know, that takes a particular sort of person to care for young men like that and bring them into their home when they've had a really troubled past. And as you say, when their moral compass has been all over the place. But if I go back to something you said earlier on, I think what's really important is for a child or a young adult, no matter where they've come from, there's some really basic stuff they need. They need somebody that feeds them, helps them keep clean, helps them go to school, reads them a bedtime story if they're younger, sits around the table and has breakfast with them, gives them a cuddle, tells them they're great, helps them with their homework, takes them to football training on a Saturday morning. Kids need basic stuff, and whatever else is going on with young people who've had very, very troubled or damaging starts in life that might need greater solutions, you've got to get that stuff right. There's some basic family stuff here that some children haven't had that foster carers can do for them.
Yeah, that routine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really important. Yeah.
Here's something that somebody told me a few months ago, and it actually is so true, that your wife and your 2 children, you probably don't have a massive support network. You know, maybe your parents had passed away. You could go to the cinema with your wife on Thursday night and die in a car crash, and by Friday afternoon, your children will be in care. That is that then brings back to the level how urgent we need more people just to care for young people.
Yep.
And it's just somehow it's getting that message across.
Yeah.
How we do that, hopefully Fostering Live, we can do that.
Yeah.
And I think your members, lots of them have been really supportive, come on board, and I think there's a few more that could, talking to you today, I think you can go out and persuade a few more.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's just to go and use it as a recruitment message is not what we're just trying to do.
Yeah.
Yes, it's to bring the whole word of fostering to the national newspapers and the media.
Yep. And Fostering Live is going to be a safe place to have those conversations.
Of course.
You're going to be surrounded by lots of other people in the same position as you, curious,
Yeah.
nervous, anxious about this stuff,
Yeah.
so you'll be able to talk to other people. And it isn't just about talking to the experts, it's about talking to other foster carers and other people as well about what their experiences are and what their motivation is.
Yes.
But as you say, most people are coming to this because they want to help a child. And that's really important. As I said before, children don't get any say in where they're born, or who they're born to,
Exactly.
lords, ladies, the Queen, whoever. You get what you get, don't you? And so we're all in this because we want to help children have a good childhood and a balanced childhood, so ultimately they grow up as confident, empowered adults who go out and get the life that they want for themselves.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. As I said, there's lots of politics within this industry. We know that.
Yeah.
I keep using the word industry and I shouldn't. With an event, you have to just kind of dismiss all the politics and try and bring everybody together and some people have their own agenda, some people have their own decisions on where they want to do, what they want to get out of that one show. But we're not politicians. We're not going to try and we're just trying to bring fostering into the mainstream and give foster carers a lift, give them something an event they're proud of.
Yeah. And I think we're reminding the people who work in the sector why they came to it in the first place.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you get caught up in organisations and funding and management accounts and strategic plans and blah, 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 that it gets really hard to remember that, because basically it's about a child and the relationship with a foster carer, and the rest of us are all here to make that work really well.
Yeah.
And you have to sometimes take a step back and remember that.
Yeah. But listen, thanks for your time.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
And we'll speak soon.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Good luck.